Hi, it's Sarah with Core Motion Fitness. Thanks for joining me today. We've got a 30-minute full body flexibility class, and you will need a mat and a chair or a table to use as a prop. So go ahead and get that ready to go, and then maybe some water if you'd like that as well. Today's workout, we're gonna start with our feet underneath our hips and just begin by rolling our shoulders up, back, and around, just loosening up through the upper body. You're gonna find that each stretch today is gonna be held for 1 minute. So these are long holds. So if you wanna put some music on or a podcast or your favorite audiobook and just tune out and follow the stretches as I go through them, that would be wonderful. Or you can just sit and have some nice quiet time to yourself. Let's go ahead and take a big inhale up and stretch the arms all the way down. Now focusing a little bit more into that movement, we're starting in our first 1 minute stretch. Palms are going to go up, and then I want you to push your palms down. So really activating through the upper back and shoulders. Good, growing nice and tall, very good. And keeping your chin pulled in. This flexibility workout is wonderful at night or first thing in the morning, just to stretch out and get yourself ready for sleep, or even just for the beginning of your day. Good. Start noticing if you have a shoulder that's a little bit tighter than the other, be gentle with it. That arm doesn't have to go up as high as the other one. Just listen to your body. Good job. And we are almost there. We've got about 10 seconds left with this stretch. Finding that extension through the spine. Good. So we're going to be working through our shoulders for the first about 6 minutes of class, and then we'll move on from there. So one more big inhale up, and exhale. Let those arms come down. Now I want you to hold your arms out to the side. Now if you have a mirror or something like that you can look into for this exercise, feel free to walk away from the camera or from your computer and go ahead and do that. But I want you to hold your arms out to the side. Now you may not be able to tell if one shoulder is higher than the other, so stretch your arms out as far as you can. Pinch your shoulder blades together. Roll your shoulders slightly back, and I want you to pause here. Knees are soft, and what we're doing here is working on good posture. So if you need to bend your elbows if it feels too heavy on the shoulders, feel free to do that, but we're keeping that good posture, shoulder blades pulled together, and our chin slightly in, and you're just gonna stay here and breathe. So you're already 10 seconds into the stretch. Good. Arms are outstretched. I always find that I have a little imbalance on this is my right side, and so it tends to lift up a little bit more. It's out of alignment often. So if that is you as well, okay, notice those tendencies and anchor the shoulders down and together. Good, keep holding. Nice breath. So from the side view here, notice that I'm not arching through my back. Tailbone slightly tucked in, chin is also pulled in. And again, trying to keep level shoulders. Good, you've got about 15 seconds left right here. So stretch your arms out a little more if you can. Very nice. Good job. Staying with the arms, with the shoulders, we're gonna move into arm circles next, all right? So begin first by letting the arms drop. Give those shoulders a little shrug. Move them up and down, round about. And then we'll move into arm circles. We're gonna take 5 arm circles backwards and 5 arm circles forward. So feet underneath the hips, again, slight tuck of the tailbone, go into that same position that you just left off on, and pull your chin in. So 5 to the back and 5 to the front. Here we go. Here's 5. And switch directions, 5. Good, keep going, alternating directions. You might feel that one side gets more tired than the other. Again, there's probably some imbalances there, some misalignment. And so we're gonna try to get that part of your body realigned. And switch. And all the while, just taking some deep breaths while you're here. Heating up already. Hopefully you feel your shoulder joint nice and toasty warm. Knees don't have to be big. We're not doing big airplane circles, just little tiny dinner plate circles. That's all you need. Great job. You've got about 10 seconds left right here. We'll do one more in each direction. So 5. And take those last 5 in whichever direction you're going. And relax your arms to your sides. Oh, very good. All right, again, rotate your shoulders forward and back. Again, just kind of release any tension there. And we're moving on. So we have chicken wings next. We're gonna bring our fingers up behind our ears, pull our chin in. Again, keep our knees soft. And we're gonna bring our elbows in. I'll turn to the side here for you. Bring our elbows in and then open them up, squeeze through your glutes and open nice and wide. Now we're gonna hold each position for 5 seconds. So come on in, hold for 5. And open wide. Great job. Bring it in again. Inhale in. And big exhale as you open. Now I want you to think about that inhale. As you're inhaling, feel your shoulder blades pull apart from one another. Be mindful that we're not actually pulling on our head at all. We're just lightly resting our fingers behind our ears. And the other thing I want you to think about is that you're just dropping your chin and bringing your elbows in. I know that sometimes I tend to roll all the way down, and that's not what I'm asking of you. Okay, so I have some spinal misalignments just like the rest of us. Job. Let's do one more right here. Inhale in and exhale, big open and release. Very good job. So again, just move your body in between these stretches, allow your body to relax. And finally, we're going to come into a bent knee position. I love the shoulder stretch. It really targets the back of the shoulders into our rotator cuff. So we're going to bend at our knees. We're going to pull our abdominals in. Take our right arm, cross it over our left leg, and our left over our right. Now, this may be enough stretch for you. This may be all that your shoulders and back need. If you want a little bit more, grip tighter, and I want you to round your back and really tug on the outsides of your legs. We're gonna hold each side for 30 seconds. So we'll hold right arm over for 30, and then we'll hold left arm over for 30. So here we go. Scoop the abdominals in, round through your back. Look at your belly button, please. And just take deep breaths as much as you can. And feel that release in the back of the shoulders. And then we're going to come out of this and switch to the other side. So just wrap the arms on top. And you may feel a little bit different amount of flexibility on this side than the other one. It's okay. Again, because of that misalignment on my right side of my body, I definitely feel a little bit more tightness through the stretch when my right arm's across. So if that's you as well, don't worry about it. And one more deep inhale and big exhale. We're going to release our hands and roll ourselves up. Put your hands right to the top of your hips and open up through your chest as your elbows go back. Your chin pulls in, and we are moving on. So very great. Hopefully you feel a little more loosened up through the shoulders. Next up, we're gonna do back. So you're gonna need your chair for this one, and I'm gonna actually turn it facing the other direction here. All right, so good to have a chair or table that's right about, between, belly button and top of your rib cage. If you don't have a chair and you want to do this kneeling, you could do that and put your hands on the seat of the chair or a couch or something like that. But we're going to bring our feet underneath our hips, hip distance apart, and your hands are just on top of the chair or the table. If you need to modify this, if it's too much stretch in the shoulders, you also could hold on to the outside, and that would give you a little more support. So right here, we're trying not to really arch our back quite as much, keep a slight tuck in the tailbone. We're trying to keep our spine mostly straight here, and you're gonna feel just a wonderful release through the back and shoulders, even in through the hips. It's all connected. So 1 minute here, just enjoy your nice deep breaths. Enjoy if you need to sway side to side and just kind of loosen up through the back, that's fine too. But we do want our ears to be right between our biceps. And again, if that feels like too much stretch, you always could come in a little bit more. You could have your forearms on the chair or the table. It's a great modifier. Everybody's body is a little bit different in how much stretch we need, so take it or leave it. Good. We're going to stay here for about 5 more seconds before we move on. And release. Good. Soften your knees and then roll your shoulders all the way up. Ah, that felt so good. All right, we're going to come down to our mat next. I'm just going to move this chair back a little bit. Downward facing dog. Okay, you know this one. And we're going to add a little bit more to it. So bring yourself into a downward facing dog. You just want to bring your hips up nice and high. Hands are about shoulder distance apart, fingers spread out, heels reaching toward the ground. And we're gonna roll through a couple different positions here. So we're gonna rise up onto the balls of our feet, and we're gonna roll forward, okay, into a plank position. And then first option is to bend your knees to come down, and we're gonna reach out into a Superman. Our toes are tucked to the ground, our thumbs are up, and then we'll just reverse that whole process. So hands come back under the shoulders. We're gonna press ourselves up and rock back into our downward facing dog. So let's try that for 1 minute. Take it at your own pace. Again, remembering to take nice deep breaths as you move from one position to the next. So rise up onto the balls of the feet, roll forward into your plank, and bend your knees, come on down, and toes stay grounded as you reach your hands out. And then hands back under the shoulders, knees to the ground, press up, downward facing dog. And we'll just continue, roll up onto the balls of the feet, hold, and knees to the ground, Superman, extend. Great job. We've got time for one more, so hands under the shoulders, press up, rock back. Let's do it one last time. And full extension, thumbs up, hold for 3, 2, 1, and you are done. Hands under your shoulders, release your legs, and press yourself back into a child's pose. Very nice work. Continuing through the back, we're going to stay on our hands and knees and move into cat-cow. Now, oftentimes we just do cat-cow for a couple repetitions, but when we really stay here for a longer period of time, we really get that deep stretch in our back. We're really going to feel the inhale, okay, as we lift, and then the exhale as we scoop. All right, so as you inhale, feel your shoulder blades pull apart. Feel the stretch through the back from the breath, all right? So here we go, beginning with the inhale, scoop your abdominals in, hold, and big exhale. And again, if you can pause at the top in each position actually for 3 seconds, that would be wonderful. Let's do a couple more. You've got time for about 2 more. And very last one. Wonderful job. Sit back into a child's pose and just relax. We're going to stay down on the ground for this next move as well. In fact, we will basically be in our child's pose. I want you to take your toes together, knees out to the side. This is a very familiar stretch, but once we hold it for 30 seconds on each side, you're really gonna feel the impact of this stretch. So take your right arm, thread it underneath your left arm, lay the shoulder on the floor, look through the windows of your arms, and then you have the option to stay right here, or you can take that top arm, reach it around, hook it on your hip, and just rotate into the floor. So as you rotate into the floor, you're gonna feel the stretch in the back of the shoulder on the arm that's down, okay? So 30 seconds on this side right here. I'm gonna start with my arm outstretched just for a moment, and then I want you to just breathe into this. Allow your body to feel heavy as it just melts into the floor. And then whenever you're ready, you can take that top arm, that outstretched arm, reach it around the back, and again, push into the floor. We're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So gently release your body, bring your hand back down, reset back to a child's pose, and then we'll try it on the other side. So thread that left arm underneath, reaching your right arm out. And whenever you're ready, you can go and take your outstretched arm around the back of the body, hook it on your hips, and as you do this, don't just stay here, but rotate into the floor. You may even lift your hips ever so slightly. The stretch is really happening in the back of that bottom arm and shoulder. Good, we've got about 8 seconds left here, so breathe nice and deep. Release. Bring that top arm, stretch it back out onto the mat. Hips go back to child's pose and release. Very nice job. So coming up next, we're gonna move into our hips, all right? So we're gonna lay on our back for this first one. So go ahead and find yourself on your back. And this is just a really wonderful place to rest. And I want you to take your feet kind of towards the edges of your mat. And this is different for everybody. So if feet are too wide once we get into this position, then obviously make a change if you need to. Let your hands relax by your side, and you're just gonna tip your knees in towards one another until they touch. And you wanna make sure that your knees are touching right up the center of your body. So if one is leaning more in toward the other, try to maybe change your feet slightly if you need to, okay? Or be more intentional about letting those knees come together. And if you don't feel this stretch at all, and the way that you're gonna feel this is kind of in the sacrum, the hips, okay, maybe even the outer part of the hips here. You can walk your feet further out depending on your flexibility. So palms are up. And again, if we've got a really excessive arch in the back, then maybe your feet are too wide, okay? So just breathe here for a few moments. Again, you've got about another 40 seconds here. So while you're here, you're focusing on internal rotation. Let's take 2 more deep inhales and deep exhales. Relax, gently bring your knees up, walk your feet in. We're gonna stay on the mat in this exact same position, but now we are gonna do what's called a Shin Box, where our knees go side to side. So you'll find that one knee comes in, okay? And you're gonna try not to lay this hip down on or this leg down on the floor, but really just keep it up. And then you're gonna bring the other knee in. So now we've got internal and external rotation in the hips going on. And we're just gonna pause in each position for about 3 seconds. So go ahead and begin. And again, just be gentle with your body. If it doesn't feel good on one side, then just do it half the intensity level. Good. And now if you'd like to, we're gonna go all the way over. So all the way over to one side, all the way over to the other side. Again, it's good to ease into these stretches. Be mindful that your shoulders are grounded the whole time. Very good. Let's do one more on each side. And release. Good. Bring both knees back to your body. Take your hands behind your legs. Roll yourself up to a seated position, and we're gonna roll over right here onto our hands and knees. We're gonna go back into our downward facing dog. But this time, our focus is on the front of the hip. We're going to extend one leg up into a three-legged dog. And then from here, we're gonna step forward into a lunging position. So into a lunge where we drop our back knee and we lift our arms up. Now we're gonna go between those two positions for 1 minute on each side. So beginning right now, hands to the ground, take your front leg, extend it up into a three-legged dog, hold, and then step forward into your lunge, and both arms come up. Very nice, both hands to the ground. And again, take this at your own pace, but not any faster than this, really. And set it down, both arms lift up. Great job. This will be our last one on this side, and then we'll just get right into the opposite side. So both hands to the ground, push back into a downward facing dog to reset, and then let's lift the other leg up, draw the abdominals in, and step forward into your lunge, and arms up. Good, and hands to the ground, lift back up. And we've got time for one more. So both hands to the ground, extend that leg up, and we will finish in our lunge. So step forward, and both arms come up, and release. Bring both hands to the ground, back into your child's pose, and just sit back. Sway your hips side to side for just a moment. And then we're gonna move on to our backs. Okay, you're gonna need your chair again for this one. Or a low coffee table would be fine too. This one is a groin release, and you may not feel it in the first minute. This may be something that you need to do on your own after class is over, but this is one of my new favorite stretches. What it does is it balances your hips. So you may not know it. You may not know that your hips are uneven or out of alignment or anything like that, but when you get into this kind of position and you have a 90-degree angle at your knee and at your hips, okay, you can feel that one side may want to lift off or maybe rotated slightly. You may feel a lot of tension in the hip and groin or the psoas, which is this deep, deep muscle right here under the iliac crest or right to the side of it. But you're gonna start feeling a nice stretch here in this region on your straightened leg. Now what I'd like you to do, your knee needs to be at 90 degrees. So if your table or your chair is too high or too low, just make a quick adjustment. Maybe it's adding a pillow under your knee or trying a different prop, that's fine. But we wanna exhale nice and deep, allow our hips to go into the ground. I want you to flex your foot for just a moment and feel your hips press into your mat. We're not gonna keep that flexed foot for very long. Okay, so release it, but keep the legs hugging close to your chair. And again, just feel the hips get heavy as you breathe and just hang out here for a few moments. Now for me, I really notice the tightness in my left side. Even though it's my right hip that gives me problems, my left side is the side that's really tight. So what's happening is that left side is pulling on my right side, which is why I have the pain there. Every once in a while, I want you to flex your quad by flexing your foot, feeling the hips drop into the mat, and then release that activity in the quad. You may even start to feel a stretch on the opposite side of your back. I know I do that a lot. I feel that a lot when I'm in this position because my hips are leveling, and so that tightness from my right hip being pulled up high is causing a lengthening in my back. So that may be something you're feeling as well. All right, so we aren't gonna spend all the time that we could here. You could stay here for up to 5 minutes on each side and really start to feel that release in the groin, again in the psoas and the hip flexor. But we are gonna move over to the other side. So bend your knees, bring your knees in, and however it works best for you to get to the other side, go ahead and do that. Again, you want your foot, your outstretched leg to be close to your chair or table or whatever you're using. And again, 90 degrees at the hip and the knee, palms are up, and you're just in a nice relaxed position here. So again, I want you to engage your quad, flex your foot of your straightened leg, and again, feel your hips level to the floor. Once you feel that, you can release the engagement of the quad and just rest here. And again, take another quick squeeze in the quad, flex your foot. Again, that presses our hips down into the mat. And then release that tension. We're trying not to engage the rest of our body. We're just letting our body relax in this position. Again, really lengthening the front of that hip. We spend so much time in flexion, which is our seated position. Okay, and then so these muscles don't get the chance to go in extension. And let's go one more time. Flex that quad. And release. All right, we're gonna move on. Go ahead and bend both knees. Like I said, you can always pause and stay there as long as you want to, but we're gonna roll over onto our knees. And our final stretch for the day is actually going to be for our hamstrings, quads, and inner thighs, all right? So you will need a chair or bench again for this one. We'll start with this one because there's a little bit of a balancing act that happens with it. So you will find that the higher your surface that you're putting your foot on, the more stretch you're going to feel in your quad. Just for the sake of ease, I'm just going to keep it right here, but maybe if I was going to really go for a deep stretch, I might put my foot up higher on one of the back rungs of this chair. But just for an example, what I want you to do is a quad stretch, single leg. We're gonna tuck our hips slightly. So just a slight tug, like our hips were a bucket of water. We don't want them tilted back, but slightly forward. And that's gonna put a stretch on the front of the leg here, the quad. A little bit into the hip flexor, but really into that quad. So hold here, bending your standing leg. If you need a wall to hang on to, feel free to do that. But we're gonna really stay here actually for 1 minute on each leg, okay? I know that's a long time, but I'll give you some different variations as we go. So again, hips pointed forward, holding on to something if you want to. Your standing leg probably working to help stabilize here. And now I want you to take your arms out in front of you. So just adding a little bit more intensity as we go here. And this might not be for everybody. You might still need to hold on. That's all right. And then finally, we're going to start lifting our arms up. And again, maybe it's just one arm and not both, but going into a full extension, hips tucked under, squeezing your glutes. I think this is plenty of stretch for my quad right here at this height with this chair. So hopefully you're enjoying this as well. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. We'll hold here for 5 seconds more. And release. Oh my goodness, that feels good. All right, let's try the other side. So reset, put your foot on your chair or bench. Begin by tucking your hips. Remember that bucket of water? Tuck it underneath. Put a little pressure on the top of your foot and stand tall. So we tend to oftentimes be in this forward position. So we want to be extended through the front of our body and hold. And the next level, if you'd like it, is to take your arms, reach them right out in front of you. Continue squeezing your butt. Lifting a little bit taller, kind of sink in, don't we? So we want to lift tall even though our standing leg is bent. And then finally, we're going to lift our arms all the way up. Extend, extend as tall as you can. Biceps right next to your ears. Good job. Keep going. You've got 5 seconds left right here. Take a release, and you are done. Good job. All right, kick your heels up for just a moment. And our last one that we're gonna do, last two, come down to the ground. Take your right foot on the ground, okay? And you're just gonna hinge forward at your hips. Now you may need to have your hands on your knee. If you can take your hands down to the ground and keep your spine straight, great. Another option is to take your hands to the chair or a block or something in front of you, but the spine needs to be straight, whichever position is comfortable for you. And we're gonna alternate between this forward kneeling position. We're gonna tuck our back toe and we're gonna rock back into straight legs. So again, here, if you can't keep your back flat, if you find yourself rounded, then your hands will be right here. Okay, so let's go between these two positions. So kneeling, I'll show you the modification here. Back toes are connected to the floor and press your hips up. Try to drop that back heel to the ground. And then let's do it again. Good job. And again, if both legs won't go straight when you go into extension like that, it's no big deal. And you could also bring your back foot a little bit closer to you if you wanted to do that. And we'll do one more on this side before we switch to the other side. We're just taking 30 and 30. And hold, very good. Bring your back foot in and then switch legs and we'll go back to that kneeling position again. So again, one side might have more flexibility. Bring your hands to the ground if that's the case for you. And begin, rock back and tuck down. So as you're in this tuck position, you're looking out toward the end of your mat. You're feeling a wonderful stretch on the bottom of the back foot. It's really common to want to look at the floor when you tip your hips back, but if you can, look out in front of you instead. That would be much better for your spine. And we'll do one more. So drop that knee to the ground, rock back, and hold. All right, bend your front knee, bend your back knee, step forward, and roll yourself up. And we are gonna finish with a lateral glide. So our feet are pointing forward. This is an inner thigh stretch. I want you to bend all the way over onto one side. Now you may keep your foot completely connected to the floor, or you may want to lift your toes off of the floor. And then we're gonna glide to the other side, lift the toes off of the floor. So maybe you're up here and you're just gliding from side to side, totally up to you. So one full minute, and then we will stretch and be done. Here we go. So hold one side, 3 seconds, and then glide to the opposite side. And take your time, no need to rush this. Each one may get a little bit lower, so don't feel like if you start somewhere, you have to stay there. Just work your way down. Great job. We'll go 15 seconds longer. Feeling nice and limber in our inner thighs. And this is our last one. All right, plant both feet, come right through the middle. Let your head hang down, arms reach out toward the mat if that's a comfortable position for you. And then bend both knees. Take your hands a little bit closer, walk your feet in a few inches, and roll yourself slowly up. Let's take a big inhale as we step our feet together. Lift up and back, and exhale, reset the body. Roll your shoulders back, and I hope you feel wonderful and stretched out and ready to go. So have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time.